Darkness always had a capital, a throne where cruelty was not only born, but celebrated. Centuries before Rome, before Babylon, there was a name whispered in fear: Assyria. Travelers approaching its walls described towers of stone carved from nightmares, reliefs of winged lions, colossal guardians with human faces and predator eyes dominated the gates. They were not there to protect the people, no. They were there to terrify, to announce that you had entered the domain of kings who called themselves lions, eagles, storms of the earth, and in clay tablets buried under the sand, archaeologists found their own words. I am Ashur-Nasirpal, king of the world. I built with the blood of my enemies, painted my walls with their suffering, made rivers run red, so all nations feared my name. The Assyrians did not settle for conquest. They sought to crush the very soul of their enemies. It all began along the Tigris, where nomads became warriors and warriors became rulers. From the city of Ashur, they invoked a god of the same name, a deity of storms and relentless conquest. For them, war was not necessity, it was worship. Every victory was an offering, every massacre a hymn. Unlike other kingdoms, Assyria built an empire fueled not by trade or alliances, but by fear. Terror was its currency. They wanted enemies to surrender before the battle even began, broken by the reputation of Assyrian cruelty. Palace walls were covered with sculptures not of peace, not of feasts, but of torture. Victorious kings ordered artists to immortalize suffering, impaled prisoners, flayed alive, heads stacked in pyramids outside city gates. These images were not hidden. They were displayed with pride, as propaganda, as warning. When a city heard the Assyrians were coming, panic spread faster than the armies themselves. Many surrendered without resistance, preferring slavery over the nightmare, awaiting those who resisted. Assyrian kings were not rulers in a human sense. They declared themselves chosen, shadows of their god Ashur on earth. Thrones were raised over skulls, decrees engraved in blood, an inscription from Tiglath-Pileser, the first chills historians today. I filled the lands with corpses, I burned cities like straw, my wrath, like fire, spared no one. These were not exaggerations. Archaeological digs in ancient cities such as Nineveh and Nimrod confirm collective cemeteries. Layers of ashes, destroyed temples, frozen evidence of cities perished in storms of fire. Cruelty was systematic, not random, not chaotic, but organized. Entire populations were deported, hundreds of thousands at a time marched through deserts, forced into exile. Children grew up unaware of their homeland, their languages erased, their gods forbidden. The Assyrian Empire became the first machine of terror in recorded history. From the 9th to the 7th century BC, Assyria expanded like a storm. Its armies were disciplined, armed with iron when much of the world still fought with bronze. They built siege engines, battering rams and towers to scale walls. No city was safe. Its capital, Nineveh, rose like a nightmare of stone and shadow. Its walls were so vast it took 3 days to walk around them. Inside, the palace of Sennacherib was not decorated with beauty, but with fear murals of burning cities, kneeling kings with cords over their mouths, women and children dragged in chains. Sennacherib boasted, I destroyed Babylon to the ground. I razed its temples, crushed its gods. I made its people slaves, its land salt. For Assyria, even the gods of other nations were not sacred. Temples were desecrated, idols stolen and displayed in humiliation. Biblical texts echo Assyrian terror. The prophet Nahum described Nineveh as a city of blood, full of lies, full of plunder, never without victims. Isaiah warned that Assyria was like an axe in God's hands, used to punish nations, but destined to be broken. And yet, for centuries, Assyria seemed unstoppable. Its armies destroyed Samaria, exiled the tribes of Israel, humiliated Egypt, and reached the heart of the ancient world, to the nations. Assyria was not merely a kingdom, it was an apocalypse walking on earth. The war was meticulous. Machines of siege tore walls apart, while towers carried soldiers over ramp. To resist was to invite horrors worse than death: impalement, flaying, beheadings, and slavery. Reliefs of Ashur-Nasirpal to depict the horrors in chilling detail: soldiers impaling prisoners, while others are herded like cattle. Kings triumphant over shattered cities. The psychological impact was devastating. Neighboring cities surrendered at the mere mention of Assyria. Fear became a weapon stronger than armies. In 722 BC, the kingdom of Israel fell. Samaria resisted but was crushed. Thousands were deported, scattered across the empire, families torn apart, communities erased, children grew up in foreign lands, their culture erased, their gods forbidden. The Assyrian deportation strategy was precise. Entire populations were uprooted to ensure obedience. Archaeological evidence confirms abandoned villages, collective cemeteries, and traces of settlements never rebuilt. An inscription proclaims, "I took 18,000 captives. Their screams filled the valleys, their despair spread to distant lands. The Assyrian shadow stretched across the known world, shaping kingdoms and instilling fear. But their own cruelty sowed seeds of ruin. In 612 BC, the capital Nineveh fell. Flames consumed the city, palaces, temples, and fortresses crumbled. The empire that ruled through terror was engulfed in chaos. Though fallen, its legacy endured. The methods of terror echoed through Babylon, Persia, Rome, and beyond. Assyria became the archetype of organized cruelty. Archaeologists and historians study Assyria not only to understand the past, but to grasp humanity's capacity for systematic violence. Reliefs of impaled prisoners, inscriptions of massacres, and exile records remain as haunting evidence. Walking through the ruins of Nineveh, one feels the weight of history. Silent stones whisper of terror. Sculptures gaze with eyes of kings who ruled with blood. Ashurnasirpal, Tiglath-Pileser, Sennacherib, their actions immortalized, teaching dark lessons. The empire fell, but its shadow remains. The Assyrian story is a warning. Oppression can last centuries, but tyranny eventually collapses. If you wish to walk among forgotten empires, uncover secrets, and hear whispers of kings long gone, subscribe. Step into the dark where myths and history intertwine, where terror and beauty coexist, and where the past speaks in voices that still echo.